Right, let's talk more about using if, elif and else in the debugger. At the moment our program only allows one guess as its answer. Now we're going to change that in an upcoming video, but first let's run it in the debugger just to confirm what's happening. I'm going to set a breakpoint over here on line 6. I'm going to right click and choose debug guessing game. Now if you're using a different IDE, just start your debugger in the usual way. Alright, so at the moment, you can see down the bottom of the screen, our program's waiting for our input. So I'm going to click into here and enter the answer 3. That's obviously less than our answer 5. Now when I press enter, the debugger stops on line 6. That's going to test if guess is less than the answer, which of course it is. We can see the values of guess and answer in the variables pane. Now IntelliJ also shows the values in the code pane. We can see answer 5 at the end of line 1, but also we can see 3 as the guess entered at the end of line 4. So work out in your mind which line is going to be executed next before using the step over button. So I'm going to come over and do that. As expected, we get to line 7. Stepping over again, the program's executed. And did you note that the little console tab has got a little yellow circle and a down arrow indicating there was some output? You might have seen that flashing. So we click onto that. We can see we've now got some output below where we entered 3, please guess higher, and the program's terminated. So basically Python won't test the code in an elif or an else when the if condition is true. And obviously in this case, guess less than answer was true, it printed please guess higher, and the program terminated. Alright, so now we're about to test the condition guess is greater than answer, which will be true. So let's rerun, or re-debug I should say, by clicking on debug. I'm going to enter 8 as my guess. We've stopped on line 6 again, and this time the condition is going to be false because 8 is obviously less than 5. So I'm going to step over. Next we're about to test the condition guess greater than answer, which will be true. So I'm going to step over again. Stepping over one more time. You can see the flashing little down arrow in the console tab at the top there. Click on that and we can see the output, please guess lower. Alright, so let's run the program one more time in the debugger this time. We're going to enter the guess as 5. Alright, so now that we've entered 5, so the condition on line 6 will be false, and so will the condition on line 8. Those lines will still get executed. Python has to evaluate the conditions to know what the results will be. It's the code in the blocks after the if and elif that will get skipped. So let's use step over to see the first condition getting evaluated. And then we'll click step over again to evaluate line 8. Execution has jumped to line 11. Note that the else isn't evaluated. There's no condition to evaluate. Else blocks will be executed if nothing else evaluated to true. The rules I mentioned a couple of videos ago are simple. So an if statement begins with the keyword if followed by a condition. The if condition will always be evaluated. Next, you can have one or more elif blocks. You don't have to include elif, and we will be seeing code that doesn't. But if you have any elif lines, then they come after the if. Elif also has to come before else, if there is an else. And finally, you may have an else block. You don't have to use else, but if you do, it must come after the if. And it must also come after any elifs if there are any. Alright, so we're back in the code here, and I'm going to click on step over one more time. Program's ended, click on the console tab, and you can see you've got it first time is outputted to the screen. Alright, in the next video, we're going to improve the program slightly. It's still not going to be very exciting. We've got a few more things to learn first, but we have to learn to walk before we can run. See you in the next video.